Hi there guys, welcome back to the Red and Blue Site YouTube channel for another Palace Daily. It's just a quick one for me today, reacting to the news that came out yesterday about the players, or the day before actually, I think it was on Thursday that the club released it, about the players that were being released from the academy, and basically the retained and released lists from the club, obviously at the end of this summer. And it was interesting reading. I think that the standout basically for the players that were going, Dion Curtis-Henry, goalkeepers going, Flanagan, Lakilo, Mensah, and Tuppy, I think, was the fifth one. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys. But there was 5 youngsters going. Interesting to see Alexander Sorloth, obviously coming back from his loan at Trabzonspor. He's staying. And after his incredible goal-scoring feats out in Turkey, who knows, maybe he can convert some of those chances in the Premier League next season, and he could be a really, really important player for us. More on that on another video. But today, as you can see by the title, I wanted to focus on the academy and specifically what we're going to do going forward. The reason I'm doing this is because, obviously, as I mentioned, the players being released, Lakilo, Flanagan, for me, are 2 players that have got a lot of potential, or were seen when they were brought into the club, into the academy, as players that will one day play in the first team. Neither of them have got close to the first team. And in the 3 or 4 years that they've both been in the academy, Flanagan coming in, I believe, in 2016 from Woking, off the top of my head. And he was tipped as one of the next big things, definitely in Palace's academy. And all the coaches have been raving about him in the academy since, really, and that he's been a great player. And we've ended up releasing him. And Lakilo, obviously, he's been out on loan at Doncaster this season. Mixed spell on loan at Doncaster. But it's coming back. That will come back to my point that I'm about to make, really, in that what is our goal with the academy? What does the club want to do with these young players? Are we developing them to then sell on? If so, we haven't really done that at all. I haven't seen many academy players over the last few seasons be sold on for anything worth talking about. Sully Kai moved over to Blackpool, as we remember. I really worry with some of the players that are being let go, more so Flanagan and Lakilo in my mind. And also I worry about the number of players who are actually coming through the academy and making appearances, or at least getting their name, out there and put on the bench for the first team. Luke Dreyer is an example of a player who has featured on the last day of the season, but he's had long-term injuries and he hasn't really nailed down a spot in the first team at all. Not necessarily in the starting 11, but on the bench in the 15-man squad. On a match day, you look at players like Nia Kirby, won the World Cup for England at an under-19 level. You look at who's another good example, Bagaboo as well, in the academy, who's a commanding captain in the under-23s at centre back, J. Rich Bagaboo. There's a number of players there that have got so much potential. And I worry that we're just going to end up like Flanagan and Lakilo, and the rest of the youngsters I mentioned who have been released. I worry they're going to get to their end of the time in the academy, get to the age where they're either going to have to stay or be released on a free. And I worry we're going to see more of these players go. Flanagan's come out and said that in the time at Palace, he's not been out on loan. There's been no opportunities to go out on loan, which I think is ridiculous. If you're good enough to play at a higher level than academy level, of course, take as many loans as you can, because getting that experience at a young age and getting as much experience as possible in real football where points matter, in the Football League or abroad where every point matters, and you're playing against proper men, and it can only improve your game, it can only help your game, and it can only benefit Palace in the long term, seeing these players develop by getting this valuable game time. And I worry that we're just not going to see it. On top of that, the fact we've got planning permission done and sorted for the new academy, and to see it being built will be a Category 1 academy, first one in South London to be Category 1, which would be amazing for the future of the academy and for the future of the club in terms of youngsters coming in, being able to poach some of the best youngsters from South London without having to pay any fees once the academy has been redone and built up. And as I said, work's already begun on that. It's really great to see the quick turnaround. The pictures and the visuals of how it's going to look when it's done they do look amazing. And I just hope we've got we're focusing on what we're going to do when these players come into the academy and when they eventually do leave, or we get to the age where they're 21, 22, 23. Are they going to be getting some game time? Are they going to be getting a chance in the Palace team, or are we just going to see them leave? You know, what is our long-term aim with the academy? That's what I want to see coming out of the club, especially with these new developments around the academy at Copers Cope, you know, at the training ground in Beckenham. I want to know what the plan is going forward, because I'm really disappointed to see some of these players leaving. I'm really disappointed that not a lot of them have had any valuable loan spells. Not a lot of them have been on loan even, and they should be getting as much experience as possible. And equally, Roy has to look at himself as well. The fact that he said that Pierre should thank him for him being subbed on against Liverpool. This guy's fought so hard, especially in the last five or so years at Palace, where chances for youngsters have been almost non-existent. And yes, we've been in a lot of relegation battles, and it's been hard to get youngsters to come in when there's so much pressure to stay up, and you need experienced players more than ever to come good when you're in a relegation battle, you know, and there's so much money in the game, etc. You know, I can understand why a lack of youth has been used in the last few seasons, but now that we're starting to see a little bit of stability, especially last season and this season, where relegation battle wasn't really on the cards for Palace, to then not give us, and for Pierre to even be able to break through this season has been great. And I just think Roy needs to look at himself and give these players a chance.